just let go, let go, let go. Hello, amazing ones. How much in here? The embodiment queen. And today I'm just coming to you excited to invite you to release the fear. In this last days, how would it feel like if you just choose to look at the fear that, whether it's one or more, that has been holding you back to create the life of your desires? One thing that I often hear people saying is that I wish things could go back to normal. I wish things could go back to normal. And I just wonder, what is normal? Are you still the kind of person who looks at life and like, oh my God, danger. We are living in times of rapid changes, and uncertainty is one of that frequency that is calling us to make love with, you know. So if you feel like, oh, I do not want this, and you resist what is here, then you're going to be paralyzed by fear. So I'm just inviting you to become the person who is not paralyzed by fear. It doesn't mean that fear does not exist, but you know what to do with it. And the first thing that I can just invite you to do with fear is to draw from the head to the heart. Because the heart knows what to do with everything that is showing up. And fear cannot coexist with love. So when you are in your heart, fear cannot be there. But what keeps people stuck in fear is being in that head and replaying the files of past experiences. And you can imagine, if you are replaying the files of past experiences, it's the experience that you had, definitely. So if something happened, you were rejected, you failed in something, you were vulnerable and something happened, there is change that happened and it turned your life upside down and you feel like, oh my God, I'm dying. Loneliness, time. These are the fears that apparently are the biggest fear in life, according to the science of people. The number one being failure, the second one being the fear of rejection, the third one being fear of change. And you can imagine, like I said, we are living in rapid changes. So if you're afraid of change, I'm just inviting you to really look at that and find a way. Actually, I'm inviting you to have a conversation with me, so that we can get to the core of this. We can have some more clarity, because we cannot do away with change unless you don't want to grow. Unless you don't want your freedom, then you're going to let all these fears take control of your life. The third being change, fear of change. The fourth being the fear of public speaking. The fifth one being the fear of imperfection. Oh, this is why I'm inviting you to have a conversation with me, because imperfection is just one of the most beautiful things if you embrace it and find beauty in your imperfection. And the sixth one being the fear of vulnerability. And I'm big on pleasure revolution. And one of the power that we get to embrace when you call him forth pleasure is that vulnerability. When you surrender in it, magic happens. And the other one is fear of time. And you can imagine, if you've got fear of time and you spend a lot of time fearing that time is moving, then nothing gets done. Your fear is holding you back. And the other one is fear of loneliness. And as someone who help high achieving women to rapidly rebuild after painful breakup or divorce, and release the emotional pain and overcome the high functional anxiety for good, awaken soul confidence and pleasure, regain flow, and find true love. So when you talk about the fear of rejection, fear of loneliness, fear of vulnerability, these are the fears that I really go deep in when you're talking about rapidly rebuilding and overcoming the anxiety and the emotional pain that is holding you back. Because at times, actually most of the time, You know, it's that emotion that is calling you forth, that is bringing in a lot of thoughts and all things that keeps you replaying and recreating the same thing that you do not want in your life. So how would it feel like to create life from pleasure, to face life with that openness, to respond to life in a way that is exciting for you? Because it's not what really happened to you does not matter. You know, the question is, how do you respond to life? And one of the things, again, with healing the emotional pain is that emotional resiliency. Is not being afraid of, oh, what's going to happen, is you being able to feel it and you get up and move on with life, you know, because we all have fear. And the difference between people who are not paralyzed by fear and those who are paralyzed by fear is the intention, is the attention and the action that they take. If your attention is what could possibly go wrong, the worst thing that could happen, and stacking it up with the past experiences that you had, what's going to happen? You're going to get stuck in there. You're going to bring emotions that are going to affirm to you that yes, it's not safe, you can't move on with this, you know, because it's something that you experience. Chances are you believe it, you know, your beliefs, or your beliefs are supporting that because it's something that you experienced, you know. So you're going to get stuck in there. And as I mentioned that, when it comes to our brain, it does not differentiate a memory and something that is real, you know. So if you keep on revisiting that memory, it's real. That's how your brain is interpreting it. It's happening in the now. So you might not even be aware of it, and actually even your body take the command from the subconscious mind. So if you push things in the subconscious mind, what's going to happen? This is what is going to keep on telling the body what is happening. And you are filled with this anxiety, you cannot act, you are paralyzed by fear. Like you live in a world where like things are just happening right now. And you keep on repeating the same patterns, because this is also one of the things. If at all you are stuck in those fears, then you're going to keep on repeating the same patterns. So I just invite you to, if you feel, if you are open to this, to start writing. Like today I just want you to pick one fear. Probably is one of the fear that is here, one of the biggest fear, which is fear of failure, rejection, change, public speaking, imperfection or not being good enough, vulnerability, time, and loneliness. Which one is more dominant, or which ones are more dominant in your life? I would like you to just not run away from them, but take a paper and start writing. And when you are done, call for the elemental beings of fire and burn that paper with an intention to release these fears for good, with an intention to move forward with your life, not being held back by this fear, with an intention to claim your power from fear because you've given it so much power, with an intention to create your life differently going forward. Because you know, if there's a fear of rejection, it does not only hold you back from probably just telling that somebody that, you know what, for years I've been having my eye on you. My greetings were not just greetings. I was hoping you could see that you mean so much more than the hellos that I've been saying. You can finally take a step and go ahead with that business idea that you have, or apply for that position, that promotion that you've always desired. You can finally see yourself, perceive yourself as somebody who is making whatever number that is coming through your mind. If you're not giving this fear so much power, you can finally take action and heal those pains, those emotional pains. Because as much as we can call them so many things, it starts with that emotional pain, the mental pain, and it manifests into the physical pain. That's your body telling you that I've been hurting for so long. And I know there is a myth that time heals, but time does not heal. What heals is you being intentional and putting your attention on what you want and taking action. to create your desire. Because by saying yes to what you want, you are saying no to that which you do not want. But if you're still focusing, your attention is that which you do not want. Your attention is on the pain. Your attention is on the rejection that you had, and you still replaying that 10 years ago. Can you imagine how much power you've given these circumstances or this person or these people? What if you choose to take that back and say, I'm willing to do things and be different and create my life from that pleasure, that authenticity, that vulnerability, from that power that you have within you, because you know how you feel when that idea comes through, but you don't give it time. It comes through and immediately you open the files that are in the mind of past experiences to affirm that it cannot happen because this person hurt me. And like I said, fear and love cannot coexist. The presence of fear shows that love is absent. So when you call in love, is you anchoring in your heart. And just talking about anchoring in your heart, when I was going through the divorce, one of the intention that I said I was just called was to anchor in love. That was what my path was calling forth. And anchoring in love, I just felt this expansiveness. It was expansive. It was like my soul was dancing, even though my human was feeling, fear here and there, but there was this love that I felt from my soul, and I was excited about what's gonna happen after this divorce. And my ex-husband was not with me. And I still remember we met at some point, and I looked at him and I said, I love you. We might be going through this divorce, but don't forget that I love you, and I would like to invite you to cherish the times that we had, because we had great times. And love is always present no matter what is happening. It just evolves. And right now we're at a time where we don't perceive things the same way. That means we are being called to a different path. And he just looked at me and he just started laughing. Like, he laughed. And he said, you are mad. Nothing can help you, but you just deserve to be in a psychiatric ward. And he said, I miss the girl that I met. Because in his world, he cannot fathom what I'm talking about when I'm talking about love. And yet we are divorcing. And I see a world where we can anchor in love no matter what is happening in life. Because what hurts the most is not the presence of love. It's us trying to numb our hearts from the love that we feel, because we have been conditioned to believe that love means staying together forever. Therefore, if our path is parting and we're being called to different things, because it doesn't come like, it's okay, fine, you're being called to different path. It's just you realizing that you do not agree on certain things in life. And everyone is so holding in so strongly into what they believe in, which is a beautiful thing. Because I believe a healthy relationship is us not compromising on our values. Feel into that. You do not lose your value. You do not get to compromise on your values or lose who you are to sustain a relationship. And I know this is one of the things that most people are afraid of. Anyway, just to make this short, I would like to invite you to take a pen and a paper and pick the fear that you are feeling in your body, that you know maybe it's just an excuse, or maybe it's real, but that fear that is holding you back from living the life that you are called to. Your soul is always whispering. The question is, are you listening? Because fear is one of the things that is also showing us where we are not in alignment. Because when we are in alignment, we can only feel the love, the expansiveness. Start writing. Feel. If tears comes, embrace them. And take the fire and burn that paper. And feel yourself feeling light because you have released something. And if it's too much, or you feel like I want more than this, let's have a conversation. Because my desire for you is not to be held back or paralyzed by fear. You are bigger than fear. You are bigger than your past experiences. The question is, are you open and ready to say yes to you? I love you, and I'll leave you with that. Just let go.
Mambo freshi, staki kesi, kata keki, arako besi.